I did have a little bump on this. It's very close in. So I've reeled in the slack and I've just want to feel that. It's a little bit breezy, about 25 mile an hour winds. Going to make things a little bit more tricky today, but certainly fishable. Gully water. We've had a lot of this gully water. This is the detritus. Plays havoc with things like the lure fishing. We've had a good southwesterly and it's smashed it up, and hopefully with these bigger tides, we've got spring tides now, it's going to off out there. So I've come down today because I do like fishing in slightly rougher conditions. This will churn up a lot of those lugworms. I say the temperature is quite mild. Doesn't look like it, does it? Quite mild out here. Before we start though, it's got the usual rubbish on the beach. Be careful what you pick up around here, but I know we all do our bit, so at least that's 5 less bits of rubbish and stick away. Just a scratching rig on the first rod. I like to get some bait in and get a little bait trail, so these have got floating beads on there, don't really need those today. Size 1 hooks with the lug, so that'll go out first. This is called this is a 3 hook flapper. We'll put that one out first. The lugs in various sort of states of quality. These are relatively fresh and wrapped, so I don't know if you can tell the difference there. This is a 4-day-old lug and that's the other stuff. Slight difference, isn't there? This will be fine for things like sole, although we're unlikely to get them during daylight here. And then these are a week old, so obviously dead and almost rotting. So a week, I think these are 3 or 4 days old, and then these ones here, I think that makes sense. Stinkers for the sole, fresh, which we'll start with actually, and then with this reel here, I tend to go 50-60 pound braid straight through, just as an alternative really. But of course when you're casting you need something like this finger spool. This is from Tronics Pro, but it doesn't really matter which you use. The main thing is you put that on your index finger. It saves your finger getting ripped off on the braid. So yeah, good tip that. Hey, look at that, sun's coming out in patches. It does give you a nice little alternative having a braid. Don't need to worry about leader line knots or constantly changing the leader. Need to go out too far, that one. Both rods in the water then. So we've got the one on the left with more of a scratching rig really. This one here hoping for something a bit bigger. Realistically a dogfish. Always a chance of a bass though. There's a little bit of weight on this, nothing too amazing. Oh. So a little eel, not the most desirable of catches, but they do like after a little bit of rough weather. They do find their way back. A little bit of damage from the hook. Hopefully it'll be all right. They are an endangered species, as we know. I think I'll just flick that one out. It's sometimes handy to have that bucket of water. Let me just put this one back. Not the most desirable of species to catch. What they will do is turn your rig inside out. They do leave that slime. You see the slime there? So if you see that on your line and a fish has got off, that's going to be the eel slime on there. So the best thing to do when you've got a rig like that is just put another one on rather than try and untangle it. Always have that other rig ready to go. That's more of a lesson to remind myself and try and tell you what to do. I can feel that wave's about to hit me. Lugworm flew off. Have any of you ever used these for sea fishing? More of a freshwater tactic. I mean, we used to use them for black bream, ground baits and black bream and all sorts of concoctions in there. But that is another option. We might put that on in a minute. Never used them for sort of general beach fishing, only off sort of piers and jetties in the past. Yeah, let us know what you think. Have you used them? Reel in the slack. Just feeling for that grip lead to grip. It's sand out there, so I'll get it nice and tight, put a rod on the rest. For some reason I like both the rods to be right next to each other like that, same height. Woo, let's reel the other one in. Hope it's not an eel. Nothing this time. There's a bit in fishing where you think, oh, am I going to catch? That's the time when you should really focus to sort of double down your efforts. It just looks so fishy out here. Well, the conditions look really good, but I still haven't got anything decent. Just would like to get something other than that little eel to show you. Stay tuned though, you never know. Right, well, let's lob this one out, see if it makes a difference, packing it with all the lug and squid. Just need to go the other side of the rod here. So there is something on here, I think. More of a dead weight. It's not something that's fighting too hard. Could be a bass. Yeah, it is a bass. So a very thin bass, neatly hooked, so we can unhook it and put it back. There you go. It's a bass. Beautiful fish. It's only a schoolie. I know he's undersized. He's 40 centimetres, this one. This one's 40 centimetres, but there you go, a lovely bass. So we got one. It's funny, it really lifts the mood catching a fish like that. It was only a small one, but it's still a bass, and also gives you a little bit more hope. There might be bigger ones out there. Bass on the lugworm, and lug does tend to be the best bait for bass in May and June, before we turn our attention to the lures. So almost got hit by that wave. So we'll get this one out with a little bit of renewed enthusiasm. It was slightly further out actually, that. So I will try and put a bit more distance on it. Although, as you know, bass will come right in close. But perhaps that's not where the lugworm are today. Once I've sorted my tangle out. Don't get me wet. So the feeder is only about 2 ounces, I think. Swinging round in the tide, but we'll just leave it, even though it's got those grips on it. I'm just going to leave it anyway. Sun coming out, it's nice, isn't it? I love fishing. It's great. If you're thinking of going fishing, go fishing. I think we'll just put one out a bit further now. Seems to be getting anything close in. Again, just waiting for it to hit the bottom. Not too much drag with this braid. There we go, we're tight in. Those grip leads, spikes will dig in. Good, hold nicely. The difference, neither of these two have got a bite on. If you look at the rod on the left, that's what it looks like when a wave takes the slack. Bit of a bow in the line. I don't know if that's picking it out, but you can see, not to get excited by that sort of thing. It's worth looking down where your line hits the sea and just see if it is the timing of the waves before you get too excited that you think you've got a big fish on. Yes, well, I did have a little bump on this. very close in. So I've reeled in the slack and I've just want to feel that. Not feeling any weight on the line. No, I'll leave it. Feels a bit better. No. Yeah. Now that's better. Aha, beauty. Well, look at that. Well, lovely little Dover sole. They go a lot bigger than this, of course, but just nice to see them. As I said earlier, I didn't think we would get one. During the daytime. But we'll take a look at this. This is lovely, isn't it? Beautiful. Not a bad size, I suppose. Obviously these get a lot bigger. I think we will have to put this one back, unfortunately. Lots of sea lice on it. There you go. We'll give this one a chance to get a bit bigger, I think. Well, a Dover sole, wasn't expecting that. So we've had a sole, little silver eel, and of course the bass. Could there be something else out there? Or am I pushing my luck? Yeah, I'm amazed by that sole, especially it seemed to come just as the sun came out. Although that lug was a bit stinky, which they seem to like, so maybe it was a bit of that. Half gave a little rattle though, didn't it? You see that? Huh. Well, that was worth the trip to Eastbourne. Now the sun's come out. If you like bass, check this video out here. Otherwise, I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.